Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Humans on a Mission, where we're going to dive into something really, really important, I think, for all of us. We are going to talk about some easy action steps to help you shift into your inner peace and calm. And I want you to sit with that for a minute. The notion of inner peace and calm. I know that the last year and a half, last 2 years, has been pretty wild and crazy going on in our world. And I would think that inner peace and calm has not been part of everybody's vocabulary, right? And I would say that today's day and age, everything that's going on, that we are not necessarily promoting inner peace and calm. So, needing to do a little extra these days, I think, is that much more important than ever. So I wanted to share a little bit of a story with you because I think it's important as, we talk about all of us, being on a mission and doing exactly what it is that we're meant to do. I think it's important for, me as the host of this show to be very open and honest and in many ways vulnerable about even my own personal experience. So inner ease and calm isn't something that came to me per se. I always thought that I had this until probably about 5 or 6 years ago when anxiety had the best of me. And I had an opportunity at the time to really build something with my job and also to build my business at the same time, which I did a lot of pushing. I did a lot of hustling, right? That big old hustle. And in fact, whenever I see that word these days, I literally cringe because I am sitting there going, hustler and hustling is the complete opposite when it comes to allowing and inner peace and ease, I would think, from my particular standpoint. So I pushed myself a little too hard about 5 or 6 years ago. My body let me know it. And so there then came chronic pain, physical pain, migraines with aura, I don't know, even memory loss and not necessarily paying attention to what was going on. People were talking to me and I didn't even know what was going on. And I ignored every single sign and every single piece of it. And I thought to myself, well, I'm doing exactly what everybody else is doing. I don't understand why I'm not functioning in the best possible way. But it was a big surprise to me when I ended up in the hospital and out of work for 4 months. Talk about like universal sign. The universe is like, we're going to force you to sit still. We're going to force you to find that inner peace. We're going to force you to do all of these things because you are just being that inner rebel and going against the grain, which, by the way, I highly recommend that inner rebel, but doing it, with great boundaries and with not necessarily with anger, but doing it with love. And there is some passion there when we talk about that. But anyways, so it's really about, for me, it was really about the fact that I needed to learn how to sit still. I needed to learn how to create inner peace and calmness because my whole entire life, I was taught to just keep going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny that we all are, like all of us in this culture. If we want to be successful, many of us have been taught that you've got to hustle and you've got to go get it. And I'm not saying that you're not going to go out there and go get it, right? That you're not going to make your dreams come a reality. But I think that we have been sending the wrong message out there for a very, very long time. And I think it's time for us to really shift our consciousness to really think about what we are doing to our bodies. And then what are we sending out there when it comes to a very big message about how we get work done and how we take care of ourselves. When we think about and I'm gonna go on my rampage here a little bit on my soapbox, but let's think about balance. Let's think about mental health. Let's think about physical ailments and illness, right? What happens? I mean, at the end of the day, we have been doing something to our bodies for a very long time before it comes out as a physical thing, right? So if, let's say, chronic pain was what I was dealing with, or headaches was something that I was dealing with, clearly there was something else that was going on that I did not realize and I was not awake to, that I couldn't even realize that was going on. I ignored it because I had no clue. And so for me, again, that was my journey, my story at the time. But I had the opportunity that once I actually got to a place where it was so bad that I ended up going to the hospital. And I remember them giving me this like mocktail kind of a thing, that took away like my pain from my head, which I literally was on the 90th day of my headache. I'll never forget this, sitting in sitting in the emergency room being like, I'm dying. And they're like, no, you have anxiety. Let's give you this cocktail of a medication. And then basically sent me home and we're like, you're fine. And I was like, this isn't normal. This is not fine. This is not okay. To then go to the doctor the next day and she's like, okay, well, you've got anxiety. You've got to deal with it. And I said, what? I don't understand this. I don't understand that this is actually happening and going on in my body. And so I had to then take time for me, right? I had to take time for me and had to really come to terms and connect with myself about like, wait, not only how did I get here, but how am I going to move past this? What is really disturbing me in my life that created this dis-ease when all I wanted every day was to feel this ease and success, all of this stuff. I mean, I literally could talk forever about this, but I think the big lesson for me at that time was that I had no idea what inner peace meant. I had no idea what this whole inner freedom and ease and calmness felt within my body, because I was taught that if you felt calm and at ease, I would not be successful, because I had to keep going. I had to push. I had to pressure myself because I wanted to. I was in this like addiction, it's like I wasn't getting pressured necessarily by no one else other than myself. How many of you here listening today are like, I totally get pressured by myself. I don't need anybody else to pressure me. I do enough myself, right? That's what we're talking about here, because we need to go lighter on ourselves. We need to have more compassion, more love, more appreciation, all of those things. But yet we don't even realize that we're doing this to ourselves. So that's what I want to talk about today, because I think there are ways that we can create this ease, not dis-ease, get it, in our lives. And we need to unlearn things that we have done before that led to us having this disease. Many of us have traumas or patterns in our lives that we have not resolved. And I'm not saying for you to pick up and resolve everything you've got to today. No. But I think what's important is to ask yourself the one most important question today, which is, how are you taking care of you? And how are you living in a state of ease and inner peace? Let me say that again. I want you to ask yourself the question of, how are you living in a state of inner peace and ease today? You are the most important person. I hope you know that. And if you don't, cha-ching. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Yes, you are. You are the most important person. So I'm going to give you some strategies today, not only to make yourself, to help you get into a state of shifting really into that state of peace and ease, but also some things that you could do, action steps to really help you have some of that self-awareness, have some of that self-reflection. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is, number one, meditate. Okay, I know you're probably tired of hearing all of this, but one of the things that I often hear all the time is, I don't, or they'll say I meditate, but then they'll say, well, I don't like to meditate because I can't sit still. Well, all the more reason why you need to meditate, because you are in that push mode, and you need to be in that sit still mode. Chill the F out. That is a scream for your body to relax, because it needs it. Isn't it amazing how we don't give our bodies what it needs for fear, whatever that is, for fear, for whatever, because we're not going to get somewhere. We're not being somebody who we want, anything. So meditation allows us to be with ourselves, to be in the present moment, to be with our breath, to connect with the rhythm of breathing again, to connect with the stillness. And I often say too, that if you are somebody that cannot meditate when it comes to just sitting still, and there's a variety of different meditations. Obviously, there's a ton of apps out there, the Calm app, like so many. The Curable app is another one that I highly recommend, that I've used before. And it's definitely an opportunity for you to be able to quiet the noise, because it's the noise that we can get distracted in. It's the noise that gets us in trouble sometimes, that happens in our minds. And so we really just need to give ourselves the space to be quiet. And meditation allows for that. Now, if, for example, you can't sit still, I highly, highly recommend doing a walking meditation. So, huge plug in, by the way, for the Center for Mindfulness at University of Massachusetts in Worcester, Massachusetts, John Kabat-Zinn. Honestly, freaking saved my life way back when. Highly recommend their programs that they do, which are virtual. If you haven't had an opportunity to meditate or work with mindfulness meditation, I would highly, highly recommend that, especially when it comes to chronic pain, when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to depression, anything cognitive, whatever it may be. They are amazing to support you through that. I learned so much. I learned the power of my own body and my own mind during that experience. I was able to shift myself out of physical pain. And I did not even think that I had the capacity to even do that. But the funny part with that is that I know that I can do that, but there have been times since then that I have forgotten. So it's okay. We got to get ourselves back on course, right? It's okay. We have the tools. We have the things that we need. For some of us, we don't have the tools. We don't know where to go. This is why I'm offering this today, because it's important for us to know that we don't have to just sit in it. You don't have to be alone. Ask for help. There's people, experts, everything that are here to support you. So meditation, as well as counselors and therapists and things like that. So meditation is one key piece to help you get to that state, because you have to understand what it actually feels like to be calm or to be in ease, right? Because we may be so conditioned to be in dis-ease that we don't even know what it feels like to free ourselves from that. So even in this moment, you can pause and connect with the mentality, the feeling, the essence of what it actually feels like to empty the mind, to release any tension that's going on within your body. And that brings us to the next one, which is let go of what is not yours. La, la, la. Y'all know people out there basically who want to fix people. Are you carrying everybody else's crap? I want you to think about that. Are you carrying everybody else's crap and you're trying to fix it for them? Are you a fixer? Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Let go of what is not yours. If it is not yours to deal with, we carry on the burden and the heaviness of so much day to day. You don't need to do that. It is not yours. So I want you to check in with yourself, and I want you to ask yourself the question, am I carrying stuff that is not even mine? Am I holding on to something and treating it as if it's my own? And I don't need to. Free yourself and release yourself from that. Sometimes I often recommend basically sitting down and saying, okay, what are my responsibilities? What are the things that I have to do? Literally on a piece of paper on the left-hand side, say, okay, this is what I'm responsible for. This is actually what's going, and then next to it, this is actually what's going on in my life in the back of my mind. And then this is the stuff that I feel like I have control over. And this is the stuff that I don't have control over. And then it's the, what do I actually choose and want to hold on to? That is mine, right? We all know everybody has a ton of stuff going on in their lives, really, for real. And we can have compassion. We can have empathy. We can have sympathy, all of these things. But I think what's important is that we have to understand that there are clear boundaries, right? We have to create these clear boundaries because it's not ours to fix. Everybody has their own journeys. Allow everyone to deal with their own stuff. Again, let go of what is not yours. What is not yours is not yours to carry. Release that. So the third is feel. Yes, I said feel, because we got to get out of our heads and we got to get into our hearts. And the key part of moving and shifting towards a place of ease is actually connecting with your feelings. I know some of you are like, no, it hurts. I don't want to be there. And some of us avoid it. I'm sure many of you even heard this. Like, many of us operate with basically everything from the neck up, and we're here to embody the neck down and literally our whole entire essence. And so we are here to lead with our heart space. We are here to connect with ourselves, and feeling is okay. But the world has shared with us prior to these past few years, I would say, that feeling was not okay. God forbid anybody be emotional or share their opinion. We may be judged or reprimanded. But here's the thing, when it comes to which is stupid. But when it comes to you, when it comes to how you are and how you show up and what is, let's say, getting in the way, what is creating that, non-harmonious space is really because we are stuck in our minds. Think about the fact of how many times you said to yourself, I'm not good enough. Why did that happen to me? I don't deserve that. I could keep going, right? Having anger, at the bottom of that, right? It may be anger, there may be fear, or something's going to happen, whatever it is, right? All fear or another emotion or another feeling that's coming up for you. It's so, so important to feel your way through, because if we don't actually connect with the feelings, we are feeling beings. If we don't actually connect with our feelings, then how are we able to release it? You can think your way out of something all you want, but the feelings will never go away until you actually are able to feel them and move past them, right? We have to release them. And that, I think, is really, really important. And I'm going to give a huge shout out right now to Bob Lancer, who has taught me the method, which has really helped me when it comes to my feeling state and connecting myself with really that and releasing a lot of the patterns I think that I've created in my mind. So big, big stuff there. All right. So releasing control. I think we talked a little bit about this already, but I think it's important for us to really understand that control is a huge, huge piece here, right? So asking yourself the question of, what is it that you are controlling in your life? If you want X, right? So let's say you want to get a new job or you want to manifest a new job, but you're saying to yourself, well, I want a job that's this way, this way, this way, and it's not happening. So therefore you're getting angry. I'll give you an example. I was job searching recently and I was getting upset because I was getting all these rejection letters. And then in turn, what did I do? I then was basically like, well, I'm not good enough. Nobody wants me. Okay. That's that negative chatter in the mind. And so then I realized that, oh, wait a minute. No, that's not it. It's just not time yet. What do I have control over? It's the fact that I wanted it to happen that particular time and I wanted it to happen in a particular way. That's control. If I allowed myself and released myself of the how, but was very clear on why I show up every day and then how I am and what I believe about myself, then the rest of it just happens, right? So it's really about releasing that control and trusting that everything is happening for us. Everything is aligned perfectly. We are being divinely guided. Can you do that? Can you trust that? It's so hard for so many of us to do. It's so hard. Why is it hard? Because we're making it hard. We're just making it hard because our mind has told us it's hard. Everything that's happening outside of us is happening perfectly. I know, silly. I literally, when I learned that, I was like, what? What do you mean it's happening perfectly? I could clearly come up with at least 10 reasons why it wasn't happening perfectly. Again, just showed me how much I was trying to control a situation, how much I was even trying to judge, which brings me to the next one, which is no judgment. No judgment. It's all about being in the awareness state without the judgment. The reaction to whatever it is that we're thinking or whatever it is that we're doing or somebody else is doing is the judgment. The judgment in you is the judgment in me. The judgment in me is judgment in you, right? If I'm judging somebody else, saying, hey, why did you wear that today? That is awful. Then I know that I am judging myself and being very critical about what it is perhaps that I wear every day. Weight. I'm going to talk about a weight thing because in my teens, I was anorexic. And that's a long story, but basically, long story short, I was rebelling against my family at the time because we moved and I was moving away from all my friends and I wasn't allowed to date. It was growing up in a Greek household. It was literally like, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. Perfectionism. So I was trying to uphold, and live to these standards. And so that was my control, right? That was my control. That was what I did because I didn't want to be judged anymore, that people-pleasing side. Now I'm in this state of really understanding that if I thought something or if something came up, it's okay. No judgment. You say something, no judgment in you. It's coming from your perspective. This is coming from my perspective, right? It's one of those statements sometimes we say, well, we agree to disagree, right? Have you ever heard that? Some people get so pissed off with that one. But again, it's really about, I don't need to judge myself. And in fact, I've probably been the worst judge of me than anybody else, right? Release judgment. Allow a thought, a reaction, just to, again, connect with your feelings. Allow those feelings to come through and then shift and feel exactly how you want to feel and have love and appreciation, let's say, for yourself. Those are ways in which you can create more ease and inner peace within you. Because here's the deal. Let's say your spouse or partner comes home and they had a bad day. How many of you out there then shift and have a bad day because they had a bad day? Because their attitude and their energy has now created an unstable you. Many, I'm sure, who are listening right now, many of us have to, again, create boundaries because we have to understand and know that whoever is coming in with that reaction, we have to allow, let's say, and just hold space for that person. Allow them to be whoever that they are. Don't judge them. And still maintain a center within ourselves. Still have that inner peace and harmony regardless of what happens outside in this entire world. Because guess what? Think about the whole pandemic, right? We'd all be screwed right now if we did not do things or focus on our own inner peace and harmony. I've been rattled over the past year and a half. I'm sure many of you have. That's why it's so important today that we need to do more of this to create more of that inner peace so that whatever happens outside of you does not tip you over. Your cup is always full. Half empty, half full. You decide however you want to look at it, whatever perspective that is. No judgment. Nobody is here to judge you. If you start judging, remember, that's on you. You're the judger. You are judging yourself too. That means you've got more to look in the mirror. Okay. Now, y'all, please don't start walking around being like, hey, you're judging me. Look in the mirror. I listened to this podcast and this is what Connie said. All right. So exercise. This is essential, I think, right? Because we need to actually be grounded physically into the earth. Now, could be yoga, could be going outside, could be just stomping your feet on the ground. I don't care. It could be just looking in nature. Doing something physical is important so that we can connect to that part of our bodies. Again, this is really helpful. Obviously, we know when it comes to stress and anxiety. And so if we're looking to create more ease, more inner peace, really decide what kind of exercise helps you do that. For me, it's Zumba. For me, it's dancing. For me, it's also listening to Latin music or Greek music because that helps me connect with my ancestors, let's say, right? You have to really ask yourself, what brings me peace and ease? What experiences create peace and ease and bring joy for me every day? So, just to recap here, we've got meditation, letting go of what is not yours, feel and getting out of your head, essentially, right? Let go of all that. Exercise and releasing control and no judgment. Actually, I'm going to add one more because I just did this and I think that this is so important. Decluttering. Decluttering. Okay. Just the act of it does something to your physical body. Just by going through your drawers, your office, pick a room, I don't care. Really feng shui it all in terms of let go of papers, things that are making you feel like you are about to suffocate, right? We're creating more space in the outer world. Therefore, you need to let it go in order for that great energy to come in. Trust me, the clarity will come. Opportunities start to come in. I just practiced this the past couple of months, and I have to say that it has been insane, the amount of goodness that has started to come. So I'm sharing all of these with you here today because it's important. It's important because I have had to shift out of old patterns of dis-ease that go beyond me, that go even further back when it comes to my lineage, when it comes to my ancestors. And I am literally here, I know, to heal these parts of me. even though they're not, let's say, me, right? But they are, I'm dealing with Connie in this physical body and healing all these things. And I'm not saying that they don't come back, but what I do know is that I have access to tools and know exactly what to do when this happens. Because when you're off or when you are feeling unstable, or you have some sort of experience that causes you to shift out of center, then it's a call to action to recalibrate. That's it. It's a call to action to recalibrate. Just remember that life happens, things will change every day. We are often very, nervous or scared about change because it's the unexpected. We aren't always prepared for that, right? You can't prepare for that. You got no control over that. So, the only thing that we can do is support ourselves in the present moment. That's it. That's all we have, because what happened a minute ago is gone. What's going to happen a minute from now, we have no idea what that is. So, are you going to sit here and worry about what's going to happen a minute from now or what happened a minute ago? You get to decide how you want to create ease in your life and calmness. The ball is in your court. So, thank you for joining me today, just you and I today, on Humans on a Mission. And remember that you can connect with me on Instagram, Connie Kanella, and you can also go to soulsync.wellness.com and we can be friends for sure. And I'm going to throw another plug in to join on Facebook, my group called Soulvolution, where you evolve yourself at the soul level, where we talk more about this kind of stuff all the time. Well, I look forward to seeing you on next episode. And as always, remember to see, believe, and walk your path. Until next time, my friends, see you soon.